Hello everyone, welcome to the next session on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last episode in SAP UI5, we discussed about the concept of XML view. We saw how can we use XML views in SAP UI5 to display the UI controls as part of an XML view. In today's session, we'll go ahead and discuss about basic concept model. What is model in SAP UI5? How can we use models? And how does the model looks like, and what is the data which we can store in the model, and how can we present the data on the user interface using the model. So let's get started and discuss the basics of model. That's the third part of MVC architecture, which we had learned in the previous session. Model view controller architecture. So by far you've seen a glimpse of view and a controller, but not the model. So let us go ahead and talk about the data model now. What is data model and what help it can do for us? So let's discuss what is data model. We can call it as just a model, or we can call it as a data model. It's your choice. So data model, everything is an object, guys. Everything it is an object. Model is also an object which carries the data required to be consumed by the application. Below are the types of models which we use in SAP UI5. So we have JSON model, XML model, resource model, and OData model. These are all the types of models we have in SAP UI5. First three type of models are known as client-side model. Once again, what they are known as? They are known as client-side model. What is client-side model? Let's discuss about that. They are known as client-side model, which means all the data which will be presented to the user will be downloaded in one shot and kept on client side, which is nothing but your browser. Guys, all the data which you need to display or work with gets downloaded in one shot from the server to the client and kept on the client side. The data is manipulated also on client side. That is what client side model is. This is suitable for fixed kind of data which doesn't change often and is a small set only. Very important point, guys. Remember, since all the data is kept on the client side, we use this model only for cases where we have very small set of data and the data which doesn't change frequently. We should use these models. Just for an example, if you talk about SAP system, can anybody tell me which database table in SAP system stores the material master information? Anybody? Which database table in SAP system? Perfect answer, Geeta. It is Mara table. Perfect. All of you are correct. Shri Devi, all of you are correct. It's Mara table. Now, guys, what do you think in a typical ERP company like a Walmart? How many SKUs, how many materials they have in Walmart in a store? How many? a lot, millions, millions, millions of them, correct? So if you load all 100 million SKUs materials on client side, do you think your app will ever load in the mobile or in desktop if it has to download all 100 million materials to display the data? No. That's why we don't use these models for the purpose of loading the real-time data from ECC system. Then you say, Anubhav, why they are important then? They are like your internal table. What do you do in internal table? Anybody? You can compare these models like internal table. They are work, these models are used like work area and iTab in ABAP. In ABAP, what we do, we fetch the data, store it a small set. Let's say 20 records I've got. And now I loop through these 20 records and process this data, manipulate it. And once I'm done, once I think I'm ready with the final set of data to be applied back, I can post it back. So all these models are mainly used for manipulation purpose. Many times you will come and say, Anubhav, I want to do manipulation on the data which I have in my Mara table. You can't do it directly. You got to load the data, store it in some local model, client side model, as finite set, let's say 20 records you got it. And now these 20 records, you are changing it, you're adapting it. And finally, you got to send it back to the backend system. Is that clear, everybody? How client-side model works? Am I clear, everyone? What is client-side model and how does it work? Of course, you guys have not seen the code yet. Just understand the theory part. Now coming to the server-side model, my favorite. There is not a single application which doesn't have this. Single real-time application which doesn't have this. So server-side model. OData is the only server-side model. So good news, you don't have to learn much. It's easy. So when we want the data to be fetched from real database tables, storing the data, we can use the OData model. The data is always by request and updated by response. Another request. And every request has what? Response. Request response architecture. You will be doing get, put, post, delete. If you remember, in one of the client server architecture chapter, I told you about different HTTP methods, get, put, post, delete. So you will be doing that with the help of this model object, OData model object. Yeah. Of course, it's very interesting to learn all four of them. You will see the power, advantages, disadvantages. Now coming to which one is used the most. Almost every application we use JSON model. Almost every application we use source model, and almost every real-time query app use OData model. These three models are top used models in almost every application. Hope it is clear to everyone. Let us move on and see using these things now in the system. So let me go ahead and show you creating our model. Now, when you creating the data model, how do you do? What is model? Anybody? Can you again tell me quickly? What is model? Anybody? Just now I taught you what is model. Can you tell me what is model exactly? What is model? Anyone? What is model? Some people saying data, some saying manipulating area. Perfect answer. Harita has got it right. Pawan has got it right. It is an object. As simple as that. पहला लाइन ही भूल गए, अभी तो बताया। ये देखो, सबसे पहला लाइन, model is an object. So to create a model, what you need to create? Anybody? To create a model, what you need to create? To create a model, what you need to create? You need to create an object. That's what we need to create, right? So let's go ahead and see the steps to create model. Let's go ahead. So there are very easy three steps. Instance, object, whatever you call it, it's all same. Yeah. So we have to follow these steps to be able to work with model. And these steps remains absolutely same, be of any type of model. So what are the steps to work with model? Very first step comes into the picture is create the model object. Once this is done, load the data or set the data to model object. Step number 3. Once this is done, finally we have to do what? So first we create the brand new model. We load or set the data to the model object. Once the setting or loading of data to the model object is done, we need to make our application aware about model. One question to you. All of you have a hidden treasure, hidden gold coins beneath your house. All of you have hidden treasure, hidden gold coins beneath your house. How many of you know about it? How many of you know that your house has hidden treasure, hidden gold coins beneath your house? No one of you knows it, right? That's exactly happening in step 3. You created a model, but until or unless you will make your application aware, you make your application aware about the model, nobody can use this model. So there is a model object which is created, but until you make this application aware to about the model, so until your application अच्छा ये model है मेरा, इससे मुझे data लेना है, this is the model which I have, this is the source of the data, this is the source of the treasure, यहाँ से खजाना मिलेगा मुझे. So until you do the third step, application will not know where to fetch data from. Clear everybody? Step number 3, which is very important. Many of you will be especially confused with step number 3. You guys will be okay with 1 and 2, which is fair enough. But third step is what people majorly get confused. So remember my example. You all have a hidden treasure beneath your house, and right now you are not aware of the, and until you are not aware, you can't find the treasure. Okay. Now, let's start with step number 1. What is the coda we need to write to bring the step number 1? So, var model, v must be small. We have to create model object equals to new sap.ui.model class dot special model class name dot object name. This is how you're going to create a new model object. So suppose if I want to create a JSON model object, what I'm going to use var JSON model, whatever name you wish to give that variable, you can give new SAP UI model.json.json model. Clear everybody? The next one, var XML model, new SAP UI model, XML.xml model. Now who will tell me what do I write to create a resource model? कौन बताएगा? Who will tell me? Anybody? Who will tell me? what to write for creating a resource model? कौन बताएगा? Anyone? What do you think? Do you see a pattern above? Do you see a pattern above? Who will tell me what will be the code to create a resource model or resource model, whatever name you want to give? New, anyone? What is the code shall I write next? Any guess? Model resource dot resource model. Perfect answer. SAP UI model dot resource dot resource model. कितना easy है? See the pattern in the code. Can you see this pattern? This is exactly how you create a model. Now OData. Let's create OData also. Var OData equals to new sap.ui.model dot OData model. Is that clear, everybody? How to create OData model object? Are you all clear, guys? Step number 1. Is that clear to everybody? How to create a brand new object of the model object. Yeah, this is how you create. Now, OData model is available in multiple versions, multiple flavors. That's why you can also use v2.odata model. Okay, this is version 2 of OData model, which we typically using in every Fiori app these days. So that's why we added a .v2 extra. Okay, this is not there for other models, only for OData we have. Of course, we have v4 also, but v2 is what currently we are using in most of the applications. Okay, so that's v2 version 2 of OData model. We also have v4, but right now we are using v2 in the most of the applications for OData services. Now, we have a dedicated chapter on OData. Let's not focus on OData right now. We'll start focusing on client-side models to begin with the JSON model to start with. Step number 1 is done. Now, how do you load the data or set the data to the model? So, to set the data, we call JSON model, whatever model object, dot set data. Of course, to read the data, what do we do? Anybody? To know what data the model has, what do we do? Anybody? This is the set data method to set the data to the model. If I want to read the data, what data model has, what do I do? Perfect answer. There will be a get method. Very good, guys. You are all smart. And there will be a setter getter method. So you will have get model to read data. Very good. Very nice. And now, what next? If you want to load the data from a file, this is like hard coding the data. You will just directly pump in the data in the method. Here you will pass the data. And if it is a JSON, you pass JSON data. Curly braces and all that JSON thing. Now, if you want to load the data from a file, you can use JSON model dot load data and pass the file path here. That's what you can do. That's about setting or loading the data into the model object. Is that clear, everybody? How to set the data or load the data from a file inside a model is step number 2 is done. One question to all of you, what do you use to verify if JSON which you have written is correct or not? What do you use to verify if the JSON which you have written is correct or wrong? So guys, I've taught you the JSON in JavaScript chapter. What do we use to verify if the JSON which you've written is correct or wrong? Yes, you can use F12, but there is a better way. That better way is jasonlink.com. You can always go to jasonlink.com. This is the website where you can validate, verify if the JSON which you have written is correct or not. Okay, so you can just say curly braces. I can say my data, some data I want to keep, EMP structure, and then we can have EMP table. Like this I can have data. Anybody in JavaScript, if I want to represent an internal table, which symbol I use, which symbol to use to represent internal table? Perfect answer, it's curly braces. Once again, somebody is remembering me, I'm getting hitchkies. I'll just drink some water and we will begin again. Okay, cool. So, employee structure. This is the structure, and this structure has now data. So let's put employee number 100, employee name. Now guys, you see I'm doing a mistake here. I did a mistake. I left this comma unattended. उसके बाद मैंने कुछ नहीं डाला और curly brace end कर दिया. This is a wrong JSON. Okay. Are you all clear? This is intentionally I'm doing wrong JSON or something I've done, let's say mistake. And now I can come back and say validate. You see, it gives me a parsing error, line number 4. See guys, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of JSONlink.com. You can verify JSON by putting your JSON complete in JSONlink.com. I can say validate, and now I see it's a valid JSON because I've removed that extra comma. Suppose you've done a mistake. You removed this single double quote. वो भी गायब कर दिया गलती से हो गया आपसे. And now you say validate. You see, it tells you exactly where the problem is. Clear everyone? The JSONlink.com. It is secure, don't worry. It is very secure, not an issue. Now I can say validate, and there you go, it's a valid JSON. Perfect. So now this is how you can validate a JSON as part of your application. And now you can put this JSON wherever you like. So let me add some more attributes. I just say salary. Currency. Smoker. And I say validate, and you see there's an error because I missed a comma. And now I can see valid JSON. Here everybody, this is how you can validate the JSON. Now let's move on. So in the third step, what we need to do, so once you validate your data, then only you put it here. Okay. Don't ever put your data without validating. It will create issues for you. Okay. Never put your data. Why I taught you that validation is because you got to remember it. Never put your data directly. So first you created an object. In step number 1, an object is created. Now you loaded the data in that object. It could be from a file. You could probably have a file. From the file you can load it, or probably the data is directly set to the model. So you can use according to the data API. And now you have got some data in the model. And step number 3, now will your application know कि भैया मुझे यहाँ से data लेना है? Will your application know that it has to take data from this circle? Will your app know? No, your app won't know. You don't know hidden treasure beneath your house. You don't know. None of you knows it until you get a dream. Until somebody come and give you that instinct that hey, there is some hidden treasure beneath your house. Uske baad you start digging, right? So until somebody know this app, that there is a data, which data source where the data is coming from, you will not know. Your app will not know that there's a data, there's a treasure, right? So that's what is step 3, very important step. We need to make model aware to the application or to UI control. How do we do it? We can set the model. I will say we can set the model object to, we can make the model object, we can make the model aware to application to the direct view or to the exact UI control. One of these has to be done. Either your model should be known to application, it should be known to the view, or it should be known to the UI control. One of these has to be done. Very important. One of these has to be done. Okay. Very, very important, guys. One of these has to be done. Clear, everyone? So what do you use to make the model object? Where to the entire application? All the views can use this model. If you make it to the entire application level, all the views can use it. Okay. So anybody, one question to all of you. Which instance do you use to get to know the running instance of runtime application? How do you get the running instance of runtime application in SAP UI5? What do you do to get the running instance of runtime application in SAP UI5? Who will answer this question? Perfect answer. sap.ui.getcore, and many of you have answered but incorrect answer because you have put case sensitive mistake. Case sensitive mistake. It is sap.ui.getcore. C capital. This is the code to get the object of runtime instance, and now this is the application instance. उसके ऊपर just call set model, pass your model object to it. That's it. Your application now know the model object. So whatever model object you created, you passing it here to the application. That's what we are doing. Whatever model object we created, we are actually passing that here. So my application, entire application now knows this model. It can pull the data and update the data in this model. Now suppose I don't want this model to be consumed by all my views. I want a dedicated model for a dedicated view. Yeah, I can do that. For that, what we use is we use view object. How do you obtain view object? Anybody? Yesterday's class I taught you how do you obtain view object. How do you obtain view object? How do you obtain view object? Get view method. Get view method. Which object did you use to get the view? This dot get view. Perfect answer. You guys are practicing. Those who are answering, you are practicing very well. Thank you so much. This dot get view. Those who are not practicing will not be able to remember it. So this dot get view gets you the object of the view, and then set model at the view level. Now tell me, is this data will be available for other views also? Will other views can use this data which I have inside model? No, this is only local to the view on which you have set the model. The step number 3, if you want model to be just aware by that single UI control, let's say just a table I want the model to be attached or model to get data from, yeah, just a single table. So you have to obtain the object of that control. This dot get view will get you the view object. Which API do you use to get a control object? Which API do you use to get single control object? Single control object dot by ID. Perfect answer. Wow. Wow, guys. ID of the control. This is what we learned in last class. Dot set model. धीरे धीरे क्या होगा, जिसने लास्ट क्लास का पढ़ाई नहीं किया ना, खत्म हो जाएगा लर्निंग. Slowly, you guys, it will become heavy dose of antibiotic. Those who are not remembering, not practicing, not remembering, not recalling things which are done in the last class. Those who are not practicing every day, not at least writing the notes or not taking a printout of this PPT and doing a chintan and manan again, for them it will become difficult and difficult day by day from here on. From here on, it will become more and more challenging for those who are not remembering, not practicing every day. At least I beg you, please take a printout of this PPT, carry with you so that when you are in a bus, train, you are just sitting idle, you are stuck in traffic, that point of time, open this PPT and start reading at least. Save your time, utilize your time. It's very, very expensive. It's very precious. It's very precious. Okay, now application view and UI control. This is how we can set the model. The last step is finally to pull the data. from model and show to the user. Who will do it? Your UI elements will do automatically. So you have been given information, boss. You have a treasure beneath your house. What will you do to get that treasure now? Anybody? You know there is a treasure beneath your house now. Step 3 is done. You got to know acha idhar khajana hai. Now what will you do? You will start digging. Exactly. Very good point. Geeta has got it right. You will start digging now. So this is the digging process. Who will dig for you? UI5 UI elements will dig for you. Okay. So anybody in MVC architecture, what is that process called? When a UI5 UI control pulls the data from the model directly. What is that process in MVC architecture called, where the data is pulled from the by the view from the model? Perfect answer. You can see it's called data binding. Very good. This is called data binding. So in the last step, as part of your end-to-end development, you got to pull the data and show it to the user. UI elements will do it automatically, and the UI elements again won't get a dream about it. You have to do data binding. Perform data binding with model address, model data address. So every model, whenever it has some data, it has address of every data. Let's take an example. How can we build address of the model data? Very important funda fox of today's class. How to get address of data for the model. So let's see how can we get address of data. So let's do one thing. Quickly go back and pull up our JSON which we created here. Verified the JSON. I'm gonna put it here. And let me write down the funda fox. Yeah. Let me write down the funda fox. The first funda fox. Every curly braces which is starting like this is converted to slash, forward slash I'm saying, not backslash. Every curly braces is converted to slash. Every array bracket is converted to index with slash, like slash index. Example could be slash 0, slash 1, slash 2, and so on. Is that clear, everybody? Are you all clear with these two rules? With these two rules, you can easily build the address of the data. So now guys, one question to all of you. If I want to reach to employee name, अगर मुझे यहाँ पहुंचना इस address पे, how do you start? You start from the top. So you found first curly braces, उसका slash डाल दो. उसके बाद you found employee structure. So let's put empstr. And then you found another curly brace, उसका slash डाल दो. And then you found employee name inside, e name. Are you guys clear how to make address of the data? Are you all guys clear how to make address of the data? Are you all guys clear how to make these two golden rules? Very important. How to make address of the data? Are you guys clear? Let me ask some question. What is the address for salary? What is the address for salary? Who will tell me? You can type your answer in chat window. Again, repeat the rule. Every curly brace is a slash. And what is the rule now? So very good answer. Many of you are still wrong. You are doing case sensitive mistakes. Don't do that. You will again become big problem. if you do case sensitive mistakes. Some people writing S capital. You see here, S is small, EMPSTR, S is capital here. Don't do case sensitive mistakes, guys. Some people are avoiding the first slash, which is also incorrect. It should be exactly first curly brace slash EMPSTR slash salary. Kitna easy tha. If this is your answer, you are right. Now, let me quickly go back to JSON lead and create a records inside. Yeah, I'm creating two records inside, or maybe three records inside this table. First record I have employee number, let's say 100, and then I have employee name, and I have Robert, then I have employee salary, 9,000. I have currency, let's say US dollar. That's my record number 1. Similarly, I write all the properties of record 2 and 3. So 101 and 102. And here we will write some data. Let's say net start and PVN. And I say salary is 1200. And let's say salary is 5400. This is in GBP. And you want to write here INR. You want to write Jeffrey? Okay, let's do that. So there you go. Last employee 103. So now I have multiple records. It's an internal table. And let's say salary is 5800. That's my multiple records. So anybody, what is the path to get Jeffrey's salary? Paega maja. Let's see कौन बता पाता है. What is the path? Let's start with the rule of the thumb. On the top, you start with curly braces. हमेशा curly braces start करना है हमको. ठीक है? Start with curly braces. On top, you start with curly braces. You will say slash. Employee tab is entity name. This is called entity set, guys. This is called entity set. Are you clear? Employee tab, employee str are what? What they are called? They are called entity set. Okay. Don't forget this word. Entity set. They are called entity set. So which entity set has Jeffrey data? Has employee table has Jeffrey data, right? So employee table has Jeffrey set. So we reach to table now. The next golden rule I told you, a bracket is converted to slash index. Okay. Bracket is converted to slash index. So let's see Jeffrey is at what index? JavaScript index starts with 0. And now if you want to read Jeffrey, 0, 1, 2, 3, slash 3. Next, you reach to the 0, 1, 2, 3. You reached here. Now watch out, again a curly brace have come. What do you do? Every curly brace again a slash will come. So you see a slash has come. And now salary attribute. That has become the address for Jeffrey's salary. Are you guys all clear or not? This is the address to reach to the salary of Jeffrey. Is that clear to everybody? Two golden rules. Every curly brace converted to a slash blindly. Every bracket convert to slash index. Index starts with 0, 1, 2, and 3. Is that clear, everybody? How do you traverse? How do you reach to the correct address of the data? This address is very helpful to achieve binding. Am I clear, everybody? Let's ask an exercise for all of you. Let's see how many of you can answer properly now. I can come back and just update my JSON. So this is my JSON now, up to date JSON, guys. This is our JSON. And now you will see here quickly, just to note down, don't forget this. This thing is known as entity set. Okay. This thing is known as entity set. Am I clear? किसी को बताना होगा कि क्या करना है. प्रोग्रामर हो आप, डेवलपर हो, you are not a layman person, you are an engineer, you are a developer, talk in engineer language. This is called entity set. You will say, Anubhav, my entity set is not producing any data, or my employee tab entity set has an issue, right? This is called entity set. And these things which are there inside, they are called attributes or properties of JSON. Each individual thing, they are called attributes or called properties of JSON. So all these things are attributes or properties. ये देखो smoker, this is an attribute. Salary, it's an attribute, it's a property. So all these things which you see, the currency, everything inside this is individual attributes. They're all attributes or properties. Entity set properties. Now who will tell me the salary for, who will tell me which currency Tyrion is paid on? Which currency Tyrion is getting paid off? Which currency Tyrion is getting paid off? Which currency Tyrion is getting paid off? No, I am not asking the answer here. I am asking address. I am asking address, guys. Please tell me the address. So let's start with curly braces. यहाँ एम्प्लॉय स्ट्रक्चर को क्यों घुसा रहे हो? एम्प्लॉय स्ट्रक्चर तो पिक्चर में ही नहीं है. ये देखो, एम्प्लॉय टेबल है, एम्प्लॉय स्ट्रक्चर, एम्प्लॉय टेबल, टू एंटिटी सेट्स. Is employee table inside employee structure? No, it is not inside. It is a direct children of your root. So why are you injecting employee table inside employee structure? It's slash emp tab slash, what is the index for Tyrion 012 slash currency. That's it. We'll give you the address for currency of Tyrion. Let me ask next question. Who will tell me the employee which is getting paid off in GBP? Who is getting paid off British pound? What is the employee name? What is the address for that guy who is getting paid off in GBP? What is the address of the employee? What is the name of the employee who is getting paid off in GBP? Slash emp tab slash index is 1 slash ename, which will get you Robert net, or which will get you net stock as the output. Is that clear, everybody? How to obtain the employee name where it is getting paid off in GBP? If that is clear, we can proceed now safely to create our things in the system. Are you all clear with the steps? Guys, are you all clear with the steps? Yes? Let's get into the game now and try to achieve this very easily in the system. Go back to our UI5 application which we started. And in this application now, I am going to create model object. So let's create in the base controller because it can be a common thing. So I can come here now and I can say create model function. And I'll say first step 1, create brand new model object. Step number 2, set data inside model. Step number 3, update or make model aware application. Usually we make it aware to entire application. That's always have a benefit. Step number 4, binding. Binding will not be done here. These are all 3 steps. First step var, थोड़ा सा बड़ा कर लो ताकि दिख जाए अच्छे से. So var o model equals to new sap.ui.model.json model. मजा आया कि नहीं आया? Step 1, is this clear to everybody? When you know the concept, it's easy to code. Line by line, step by step, no copy paste of code. That's the mantra for going ahead and learning things from deep. Step number 1, is that clear, everybody? how to create a brand new model object. Yeah. Step number 2. What do you do in step number 2? You will set the data. So o model dot set data और पूरा data उठा के डाल दो इधर अंदर set data के अंदर. Let's bring all our data. We will copy this data and bring it on. Bring it on, man. Bring it on. Pura data. I just got that entire data. Now I am setting that data here to the application level. Is this clear to everybody? Step number 2. I completely agree, guys. Currently, it's hard-coded data. It's not coming from Mara table or any ERP table. But right now, this is enough for you to proceed. Okay, this is enough. You have two entity sets here. You see, this is your model. WebID gives you amazing formatting options. You can see you have two entity sets inside. This is your JSON data. Employee table, if I expand, I can see in employee table, I have multiple records in employee table. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 records I have. Always validate. Golden rule, always validate your JSON from JSON lint before you put. You see it's validated now. And now it's good practice to put this always. Validate your JSON, guys. Otherwise it will create problems for you. Okay. Always validate your JSON before you put it in the system. It's always a good practice. So now if you see, I have complete JSON data. It has two entity sets inside. In the employee table, I have multiple records. The WebID gives you this collapsible option to see the data better. Yeah, so it has 4 records inside. You can go to any record and check it out, the details of that record. That's a formatting option which WebID offers for free to us when it comes to JSON. Okay. Next, what is the step number 3? Who will tell me? What is the step number 3? Who will tell me the coda for step number 3? What do you do to make the model aware to the application? You got to obtain the application instance. What do I write here? Anyone? What do I write to obtain the instance of application? Who will tell me? SAP UI get code. Perfect answer. SAP UI get code gives you the instance of running application and set model pass O model inside. That's it, guys. Your application is now no. I have a hidden treasure behind my house. In my backyard, I have a hidden treasure. Now your application know. अच्छा ये है इससे लेना है मुझे data. This is what your application knows. O model is your object which you created. Pass that object here. That's it, guys. So you created an object. You got some data in that. This data is sitting inside your model, and this model is now going and making a way to the application. Are these 3 steps clear to everybody? 1, 2, and 3. Are these 3 steps clear to everybody? If it is clear, let us proceed and now see the magic. Magic happens here, guys. Magic happens. Now you have to call this method on init. Whenever your app is starting, I want to call this method. So typically we can do it in constructor of a class. So go to controller, and here, guys, we will add a special method which UI5 gives called constructor method. It's called on init function. Now you can say this dot create model. Here everybody, I am saying on init. What is on init? It's a method provided by SAP UI5. It's called hook method. This is acts like a constructor of a class. What is constructor of a class? A method which gets called when the class object is created. So when UI5 creates the object of the controller inside itself, at that time UI5 will call this method. You don't have to call it. UI5 will call it. And what will happen? UI5 will invoke this implementation automatically when the object of controller is getting created. Okay. UI5 will call this, will automatically call this once in lifetime when app starts. So only once it will get called. It's like initialization. Okay. On init method. It is a ready-made method provided by UI5 available in all the controllers. You can write initialization code. all your initialization code can go in. Here everybody the constructor of the controller class, constructor method of controller class which is used to initialize, and here we are then calling the base class method create model. Watch out now, a model object gets created. Let's test this much at least. So come back to the application, run this application, and now we'll see if the model is getting created or not. So the best way to know, first best instinct you can do is check the console. अगर console में कोई error नहीं है तो सब मस्त चल रहा है. Okay, always check your console, keep monitoring the console, which is very important. If console has no issues, everything is nice. So this app cache buster, these things are okay. You can ignore these errors, they are coming from standard UI5. Okay, UI cache buster info something, fav icon you can ignore, us you can ignore. Otherwise there is no error in our coda, actual coda there is no error. Okay, now let's see how can I check whether my model is created or not. Just come back, SAP UI get code dot get model. आपने model set किया था, उसको get कर लो. Just try console में getting the model, and I say oh model dot get data. Please show me what data you have got. Can you see, everybody? Can you see the data which I said? Do you all see the data which we had set to the model is now available in the model? यही तो सेट किया था हमने, वही तो डेटा दिख रहा है हमको. See guys, that's the magic. You can see this is the data. If you would have done a mistake, this get data would have given you empty. Yeah, that's how you can test if your model is set properly or not to the application. Now since it is set, let's go to the address and bind. Let's do the binding guys. We will say binding. So in this input field, if I want to display the data for employee name, come back to the view. That's my view. This is my view, XML view. Here I have an input field. Which property of input field gets data inside input field? Which property of input field gets data inside input field? It's value. Perfect answer. Value property. If I write here some value, I can write, let's say Tessie. Let's come back and refresh now. You will see the data Tessie will come here as part of my input field. Can you see this guys? Tessie is coming here. Data Tessie is coming here. How the Tessie is coming in this input field? Why? Why the Tessie is coming? Because we have hard coded the value over there. We have told the value of my input field is Tessie, and that's why it's reflecting here. But now guys, this value I want to get from my modal. I have a modal, and from this modal I want to get this value. What to do? What to do guys to get the data from modal to the view? What is that process called when you get the data from the modal to the view? What is this process called? Perfect answer. It's called binding. So to do the binding, you have to tell the address. You have to tell the address from where it should get the data. So remove C, put curly braces to indicate I'm doing binding. Curly brace indicates I'm doing binding. Some people will avoid this. It will not work. What curly brace indicates? It means I'm doing binding. Binding with what? Please tell me, who will tell me the address of employee name? Who will tell me the address of employee name? Who will tell me the address of employee name? Who will tell me the address slash empstr slash employee name? कितना easy था. And many people still doing case sensitive mistakes. It is case sensitive guys. अगर गलत डालोगे तो output नहीं आएगा. Employee str, S is capital, employee name N is capital. This is the biggest mistake what we do, because we are, ABAP is in our blood. ABAP is not case sensitive. Most of us are ABAPers. So ABAP is in our blood, it is in our tissues, and always when we code, we don't care about cases. But JavaScript is case sensitive. It is absolutely natural that you do mistakes with case sensitive, but the good thing is you should correct it. You should know how to correct it. हमेशा चेक करना, मेरा बात याद रखना, केस सेंसिटिव इशू, ज्यादातर केस सेंसिटिव इशू होता है। 80% your initial issues are case sensitive. Okay, let's do the binding. Come back here, /mpstr/ename. I saved it. Let's come back and refresh. What data we have in data? What data we have in model? Anubhav. So Anubhav should come here. Now I refresh. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oh, my data is not coming, Anubhav. What to do? Anubhav, my data is not coming. Everything is right, Anubhav. My data is not coming, Anubhav. What to do? What do you do, guys, if your data is not coming? You know, I have done mistake intentionally to show you it is case sensitive. This won't come in console. This error won't come in console now. Console won't give you anything here. Okay. These kind of errors, console won't tell anything, boss. Console won't tell anything for these binding errors. You will not know binding errors via console. Console doesn't tell anything about binding errors. Okay. So you can't rely on console for that actually. No, not at all. So you got to come back and correct it. That is the trickiest part. Employee str, employee name. Save this, come back and refresh. Let's see what happens. Boom, there you go. Can you see? The data which I had in the model is now available on the UI. Is that clear, everybody? What is going on here? How to create binding? Congratulations. You have understood the first concept of binding. Time for an exercise. No heavy dose anymore. For today's session, I guess we learned a lot today. So let's time for an exercise. Design 4 input fields on UI for employee name, employee number, salary and currency, and display the data from EMP structure on UI using binding. Let's see how many of you can achieve this exercise and give me the result. Tomorrow's class, we will see the solution also for this exercise. You can then compare your solution with my solution and see what is that I will do. Clear, everybody? Is that clear to everyone? How to work with model? Very basic, very simple example. There is a lot yet to come. Lot of action is pending. Picture abhi baki hai mere dost. There is a lot to come. It is just the entry point for model to make you understand the basics of model in today's class. We didn't even see properly the model concept yet. We have just entered in the model concept. ये पहला preview है. This is first preview. There's a lot to come yet into the model. Yes, Deepak, I completely respect your question. There are many questions coming in your mind. Let me note down these questions before they come in. So, what about, can I have multiple models? How will system differentiate between models? When I change data on UI, will it also update model data? What are all the types of binding? How to bind table data? So many questions, guys. It's endless. I'm going to answer each one of them slowly and steadily. Heavy dose of antibiotic not permitted in my class. Okay. Can we bind model with different server with a single app? Yes, this is the same question. Can we have multiple models? Same question. Can we bind one UI control with multiple models? What will happen when I change data? All these things we're going to learn it about in upcoming days. There's a lot to come yet. This is just a preview of model. Heavy dose of antibiotic is still for you. Please complete this exercise. Then you will enjoy the next class for sure. If you want to enjoy the food, you have to exercise every day. 45 minutes of exercise, very important for life, guys. If you are not doing it, you are wasting your time. Please start getting into habit of 45-minute exercise every day. Very important. Your company will not help you. No matter what money you earn, it is not help you. It will not help you. No matter how much money you will earn, it will not help you at the end of the day. What helps you is your health. You will realize the meaning of your health when you lose it. So don't let it lose. Please start 45-minute exercise. Promise me 45-minute exercise along with 2 hours of UI5 exercise. 2 hour 45 minutes you give it to me every day. You will see a big difference after completion of this course. By the time we complete our course, you will see a big good change in your life, good change in your health, and a good change in your UI5. We are developing both physical and mental health. Both physical and mental health are important. Money will not help you. Suppose if you have a stomach pain, if I put a 2000 rupees ka gaddi, if I put a bundle of 2000 rupees on your pain in the stomach, will it get healed? It will not, which proves that money cannot give you everything. So start investing little bit on your health, physical health, which is very important. No matter how much ever work, I always go for gym at least for 1 hour exercise, no matter whatever work I have. No matter. Please invest in your health little bit. It will give you great results. Great results. You will have a long lasting happy life going ahead. With that, it's a wrap on today's class. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Yes, please go ahead with your question. You have a question?
Yeah, Anubhav, I am Pawan. I have one query.
Yes, please.
While we are debugging, can we change the code at runtime in browser?
Yes, why not? This
Is
question.
that possible?
Can we change what data, right?
No, can we change the code?
Can we change acha coda at runtime?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Let me show you that. So okay, this is not out of syllabus, not heavy dose. We can see that actually right away. Just come back and now let's say I come here, I click on all, I say attach function and you see it's hitting my debugger. So while debugging, can I change the code? Yes, you can, but that change will only run for the current instance of browser. It won't change the code in the web IDE. It just work for current change. So let's say I remove the debugger, I comment this out, or I remove this line, these two lines of code completely. And I also maybe say alert statement here. So I can change the code, no problem in that. Okay. And after changing the code, press save button, control S, it got saved. You see a warning here on the top which indicates that code has been changed. Yeah. And now you see event is attached now doing it's triggering your code actually. So once you save it, immediately these changes got affected, but they didn't change the web ID. You can use the change, you can use these changes to test locally within this instance of browser. If you think your code work, everything looks fine, then it's okay, cool. You can then copy from here and put in web ID permanently. You can do that. You see just now I did and it showed me that pop-up. So I click on attach, you see again
Yeah.
event is attached to it.
Anubhav, one more query. Like this keyboard, we should make it like which it is representing, whether it is button or controller, by using its SID or limit or any other properties there.
Can you please repeat?
Like this keyword is there, right? When we are using this keyword, what it is currently representing, whether controller or any UI
You can
controller.
always check it. So
Uh,
in this case, it's representing
SID.
controller instance. Yeah. So I can debug, click here and take this pointer, right click, evaluate in console. Yeah. Evaluating console. And now you will see here below this pointer represent instance of your controller. ये देखो हमेशा O view आता है controller में. Controller always gets O view object. Controller के अंदर view का object रहता है हमेशा. O view. It's representing the view object. Sorry, controller object. And you don't have to worry actually because we use XML views. When it comes to XML views, it always XML views always pass the controller object to this pointer always by default. So you don't have to worry about it because it's called by XML view. If a event handler is called by XML view, it always hold the controller instance in this pointer. That is natural. Mhm. Yes,
Thank you.
Umair, go ahead with your query, Umair. You can unmute your
Yes,
line.
actually, yeah. Yesterday that code I was trying to display the that title, but that is not happening. Could you help me for that one?
Yeah, let's see what mistake you have done. We can check that. I give you presenter rights. Please go ahead and share your screen.
Yeah, sure.
In the meantime, anybody else, any other question on the line? You guys can speak up.
You able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see. Please go ahead.
Yeah, this is the my date coding. So I'm running this, but I'm not getting that title.
Please navigate to the view.
Yes, this is the view, my view.
Who will tell me what is the mistake here? Anybody? कोई तो होगा जिसने ढंग से पढ़ाई की होगी कल वाली क्लास को प्रैक्टिस किया होगा without copy paste. What is the mistake? Anybody? What is the mistake here? Anyone who will guess, who will tell me? Come on guys, you can tell it. It's very easy. एक सेकंड में पता चल गया मेरे को. Who will tell me? थोड़ा सा जोर लगाओ, थोड़ा सा. First mistake, the app control should not be commented. That is the first mistake. But that is again not a showstopper. Leave the app right now as it is.
Yes. I tried
Leave
that
it,
one
leave
also,
it.
but
No,
that is
no,
not
leave
fine.
it. No, that's not still the major mistake. Any other guess? Anybody? कोई नहीं बता पा रहा है. Nobody practiced yesterday's class properly. Everybody doing copy paste. Guys, SAP UI5 control objects always starts with capital letter. Page object which you have written, P is small you have written. P must be capital. No,
P in this
not
one, right?
above, not above. Controller name is correct. C should be small. Controller name first letter is small, next consecutive word, first letter is capital. That's correct only. But page ka P you have made it small. Please make it capital. Save this and run it. I told you 80% your mistakes are case sensitive.
Yes, this is the one.
Easy?
Yeah,
And you know it's
yeah,
easy.
yes. Thank
You
you.
might have spent about 2-3 hours solving this, but
Yeah, 2-3 hours I spent that
if
one
you
in
would have
this.
downloaded my
Like,
code and compared your code with my code, you would have got to know
how can I
easily.
download your code? Anubhav?
Go to our training
This,
blog,
yeah,
scroll up.
this is the training blog session,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah,
Now come
yeah,
down. Where is our coda?
yes,
It is mymvcapp.zip. Can you see that? Last item in projects.
yes. This
Download.
one, right?
Yes, download.
Download and how I will get that one?
You got it? And now you have to import it in the web
Yes.
ID. Go back to web ID. Don't do this. Close this.
Okay,
Go to web ID.
okay,
Right click on the workspace on the top. Upar hi upar. Right click.
okay,
Import.
okay,
I taught you guys everything
okay,
I taught you in the previous classes. From file system and show the path.
okay,
Browse.
okay.
It will come up and then you can compare the code. It's very easy to compare the code, right? Very, very easy to
Okay, I
compare.
will get it. Okay, I will
That's how
try
you
that
can do
one.
things. Cool,
Okay,
guys.
thank you, Anubhav.
Sure, no problem. Thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.